What if I told you that one of the most overlooked realities of modern life is that countless men across generations are quietly stepping away from dating altogether, not out of bitterness or hatred, but out of sheer exhaustion, disillusionment, and a recalibration of priorities. And what if I told you that this shift is not just anecdotal but widespread, shaping the way relationships, families, and even society itself will look in the decades to come? Would you want to hear the full story? Would you want to understand why so many men are saying no to the chase, no to the endless cycle of effort without reward, and no to the expectations that drain them of time, money, and energy? Because if you do, then stick with me until the very end of this video, because what we're about to unpack is not only eye opening, but deeply relevant to anyone navigating the modern dating landscape, whether you're a man, a woman, or simply someone curious about why the dynamics of love and partnership feel so different today. Now, let's get into it. The reality is that more and more men are finding themselves with virtually no desire to date. And this isn't just about one man turning 39 and realizing he hasn't put energy into dating in years. It's about a collective recognition that the pursuit itself has become a burden rather than a joy, a drain rather than a source of fulfillment. And when you listen to men talk about it, you hear the same themes repeated over and over again: themes of time scarcity, financial strain, emotional fatigue, and a growing sense that the effort required to court, maintain, and sustain relationships is simply not worth the diminishing returns. Men today are working longer hours, juggling multiple jobs, some side hustles, and responsibilities just to keep a roof over their heads, food in their bellies, and gas in their cars. And when survival itself takes up so much bandwidth, the idea of pouring additional energy into dating feels almost impossible. And even when opportunities arise, even when attractive women show interest, many men find themselves shrugging, uninterested, unwilling to sacrifice their gym time, their family obligations, their hobbies, or their peace of mind for the uncertainty of a relationship that may not last beyond a few months or years. This is not about hating women. This is not about bitterness. This is not about anger. It's about reprioritization. It's about men realizing that their time and energy are finite, and that pouring those resources into dating often yields little more than stress, disappointment, and financial strain. Think about it. Dating today is expensive. It's not just dinners and drinks, it's trips, gifts, experiences, and the constant expectation to provide, to impress, to entertain. And while some argue that relationships should be 50-50, the reality is that most men feel the imbalance. They feel the financial weight. They feel the pressure to spend. And they know deep down that the illusion of equality in dating is rarely reflected in practice. Add to that the emotional labor, the constant need to prove oneself, to chase, to court, to initiate, and you begin to see why so many men are simply opting out, why they're saying, if she doesn't come my way, if she doesn't initiate, if she doesn't make it clear she wants me, then I'm not going to bother, because the chase itself feels like a part-time job, a job that requires energy, money, and emotional resilience that many men simply don't have anymore. And let's be honest, the older you get, the less sex drives your decisions, the less you're willing to bend over backwards for fleeting intimacy, because priorities shift, because peace of mind, stability, and personal fulfillment begin to outweigh the thrill of the chase. And when you've lived long enough to see relationships dissolve, marriages collapse, divorces skyrocket, and families fracture, you begin to question whether the pursuit is worth it at all. Many men today look around and see relationships lasting a year, 2 years, maybe 3, before they implode, before they end in bitterness, before they leave both parties drained. And they ask themselves, why bother? Why invest so much time, money, and energy into something that has such a slim chance of lasting, why not instead focus on personal growth, on fitness, on hobbies, on friendships, on family, on building a life that is fulfilling without the constant stress of dating? And here's the kicker: this isn't just older men, this isn't just men approaching 40, this is men in their 20s, men in their 30s, men across the spectrum who are realizing that the juice is not worth the squeeze, that the effort required to date in today's world far outweighs the potential reward. And when you combine that with the rise of toxic dating apps, ghosting, games, disrespect, and the endless cycle of superficial connections, you begin to see why so many men are simply walking away. Some women will say men don't try anymore, that men put in no effort. But what they fail to recognize is that effort itself has become unsustainable, that the bandwidth required to survive in today's economy leaves little room for the chase, and that men are not necessarily unwilling. They're simply unable to pour themselves into dating when survival itself is already a full-time job. And here's another layer: many men who are financially set, who have achieved stability, have done so at the expense of their health, their fitness, their style, their grooming, their personal lives, because they've poured so much into chasing the dollar that they've neglected everything else. And when they finally look up, they realize they have no energy left for dating, no desire left to chase, no bandwidth left to court, because the pursuit itself feels hollow, feels draining, feels like a distraction from the things that truly matter. And so you see this growing trend: men walking away, men reprioritizing, men choosing peace over chaos, stability over uncertainty, self fulfillment over the endless chase. And while some may laugh, while some may criticize, while some may call it weakness, the reality is that it's a rational response to the world we live in today, a world where survival takes precedence, where peace of mind is rare, where time and energy are precious commodities, and where dating often feels like a gamble with poor odds. And let's not forget the psychological impact of growing up in a world where divorce is the norm, where broken families are common, where seeing parents split up is almost expected, because that shapes how men view relationships, that shapes how men view commitment, that shapes how men view the pursuit itself. And when you grow up seeing relationships fail, you begin to internalize the idea that failure is inevitable, that the chances of success are slim, and that the pursuit itself may not be worth the risk. So, what happens? Men stop dreaming, men stop scheming, men stop believing that love is out there waiting, and instead they accept the reality that peace, stability, and self fulfillment may be found elsewhere, outside of dating, outside of relationships, outside of the chase. Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now. And yet, even with all of this, many men still hold out hope. Many men still dream of finding someone who truly aligns, someone who feels like a best friend, someone who respects them, someone who shares values, someone who makes the pursuit feel worthwhile. But the difference is that they're no longer willing to sacrifice everything for it. They're no longer willing to bend over backwards. They're no longer willing to drain themselves for the possibility of fleeting intimacy, because they've realized that their time, their energy, their money, and their peace of mind are too valuable to gamble. And so here we are in a world where countless men are walking away, where countless men are reprioritizing, where countless men are saying no to the chase. And the question becomes, Is this a problem? Is this a crisis? Or is this simply a rational response to the realities of modern life? Some will argue that it's a crisis, that men walking away will lead to fewer families, fewer marriages, fewer children, and a breakdown of traditional structures. But others will argue that it's liberation, that it's men reclaiming their time, their energy, their peace of mind, and choosing to live life on their own terms without the constant stress of dating. And maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. Maybe it's both a crisis and a liberation. Maybe it's both a challenge and an opportunity. Maybe it's both a reflection of the difficulties of modern life and a chance for men to redefine what fulfillment looks like. But one thing is clear: the trend is real. The shift is happening, and the conversation needs to be had, because ignoring it won't make it go away. Dismissing it won't change the reality, and mocking it won't alter the fact that countless men are simply done with the chase. So, as we wrap this up, I want to ask you, what do you think? Do you agree with what's been discussed? Do you see the same patterns in your own life, in your own circles, in your own experiences? And if you do, or even if you don't, I want you to leave a comment below. Share your thoughts, share your perspective, because this is a conversation worth having. This is a reality worth exploring, and this is a shift worth understanding. And with that, like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away in cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.